Chapter 24, Human and Personality. A man was born, lived 65 years, and dies. But where was he before 1900, and where could he be after 1965? Official science knows nothing about this. This is the general format of all matters on life and death. Axiomatically, we can affirm a man dies because his time is up. There is no tomorrow for the personality of a dead man. Each day is a wave of time. Each month is another wave of time. Each year is also another wave of time. And all of these waves linked together as a whole make up the great wave of life. Time is round, and the life of the human personality is a closed curve. The life of the human personality develops in its time, is born in its time, and dies in its time. It can never exist beyond its time. This thing about time is a problem that has been studied by many sages. Undoubtedly, time is the fourth dimension. Euclid's geometry is only applicable to the three-dimensional world. But the world has 7 dimensions, and the fourth is time. The human mind conceives eternity as the prolongation of time in a straight line. Nothing can be more mistaken than this concept, because eternity is the 5th dimension. Each moment of existence occurs in time and is repeated eternally. Death and life are 2 extremes that touch. A life ends for the man that dies, but another begins. A time ends and another begins. Death is found intimately associated with eternal return. This means that we have to return, to come back to this world after being dead, to repeat the same drama of existence. But if the human personality perishes with death, who or what returns? It is necessary to clarify once and for all that the ego is the one who continues after death, that the ego is the one which returns and comes back to this valley of tears. It is necessary that our readers do not confuse the law of return with the theory of reincarnation taught by modern theosophy. The above-mentioned theory of reincarnation had its origins in the cult of Krishna, which is a Hindu religion of a Vedic type, unfortunately retouched and adulterated by reformers. In the authentic original cult of Krishna, only the heroes, the guides, those who already possess sacred individuality, are the ones who reincarnate. The pluralized ego returns, comes back rather. This is not reincarnation. The masses, the multitudes return, but that is not reincarnation. The idea of the return of things and phenomena, the idea of eternal repetition, is not very ancient, and we can find it in the Pythagorean wisdom and in the ancient cosmogony of the Hindus. The eternal return of the days and nights of Brahma, the incessant repetition of the kalpas, etc., are invariably associated in an intimate way with the Pythagorean wisdom and the law of eternal return and recurrence. Gautama, the Buddha, very wisely taught the doctrine of the eternal return and the wheel of successive lives, but his doctrine was very much adulterated by his followers. Every return implies, of course, the fabrication of a new human personality. This is formed during the first 7 years of childhood. The family environment, the life in the street and school, give the human personality its original characteristic tint. The example, or our elders, is definitive for the infant personality. The child learns more from example than from precept. The mistaken way of life, the absurd example, the degenerated customs of our elders give the personality of the child that peculiar, skeptical, and perverse tint of the era in which we live. In these modern times, adultery has become as common as pie, and so it is quite logical that this originates Dantesque scenes inside homes. There are many children that in these times have to bear, filled with pain and resentments, the lashes and beatings of the stepfather or stepmother. It is clear that in this way, the personality of the child develops within the frame of pain, rancor, and hate. There exists a vulgar saying, "Another person's child is not wanted anywhere." Naturally, there are also exceptions, but these can be counted on the fingers of one hand, and we even have fingers left over. The disputes between father and mother about matters of jealousies, the crying and laments of the afflicted mother, or the oppressed, ruined, and desperate husband, leave on the personality of the child an indelible mark of profound pain and melancholy that is never forgotten his entire life. In elegant houses, the proud ladies mistreat their servants when the servants go to a beauty salon or put makeup on. The pride of the ladies is mortally wounded. The child that sees all these infamous scenes feels profoundly hurt, whether he be on the side of his proud and haughty mother, or from the wretched, vain, and humiliated servant, and the result is often catastrophic for the child's personality. Ever since television was invented, the unity of the family has been lost. In other times, the husband arrived from work and was welcomed by his wife with much happiness. Nowadays, the woman does not go to welcome her husband at the door because she is busy watching television. Within modern homes, the father, mother, and children seem to be zombies before the television screen. Now the husband cannot talk with his wife about any of the problems of the day, of work, etc., because she looks like a zombie watching yesterday's movie. The Dantesque scenes of Al Capone, the latest fashionable dance of the new wave, etc. The children brought up in this new type of ultra-modern home only think of cannons, pistols, toy machine guns, to imitate and relive in their own way all the Dantesque scenes of crime, just as they have seen them on the television screen. It is a pity that this marvelous invention of television is used with destructive purposes. If humanity would use this invention in a dignifying way, whether it be to study natural sciences or to teach the true real art of Mother Nature, to give sublime teachings to people, then this invention would be a blessing for humanity. It could be intelligently used to cultivate the human personality. It is absurd in any count to feed a child's personality with arrhythmic, inharmonious, vulgar music. It is stupid to feed the personality of children with stories of thieves and policemen, with scenes of vice and prostitution, dramas of adultery, pornography, etc. We can see the result of such actions in the rebels without a cause, the premature murderers, etc. It is unfortunate that mothers whip their children, that they beat them, that they insult them with cruel and indecent words. The result of such conduct is resentment, hate, the loss of love, etc. In practice, we have seen that children brought up among beatings, lashes, and screams become vulgar people full of boorishness and a lack of every sense of respect and veneration. It is urgent to understand the need to establish true equilibrium within homes. It is indispensable to know that sweetness and severity should be mutually balanced on the two pans of the scale of justice. The father represents severity, the mother represents sweetness. The father personifies wisdom, the mother symbolizes love. Wisdom and love, severity and sweetness mutually balance each other on the two pans of the cosmic scale. Parents should mutually balance each other for the good of the home. It is urgent, it is necessary that all parents understand the need to sow in the child's brain the eternal values of the spirit. It is unfortunate that modern children no longer possess the sense of veneration. This is due to stories of cowboys, robbers, and the police. Television, movies, etc. have perverted the mind of children. The revolutionary psychology of the Gnostic movement, in a clear and precise way, makes an in-depth difference between ego and essence. During the first 3 or 4 years of life, only the beauty of the essence manifests itself in the child. Then the child is tender, sweet, beautiful in all its psychological aspects. When the ego begins to control the young personality of the child, all the beauty of the essence starts to disappear. And in its place come up the psychological defects typical of every human being. In the same way as we should make a distinction between ego and essence, it is also necessary to distinguish between personality and essence. The human being is born with the essence, but not with the personality. It is necessary to create the latter. Personality and essence should develop in a harmonious and balanced way. In practice, we have been able to verify that when the personality develops in an exaggerated way at the expense of the essence, the result is a rascal. Observation and the experience of many years have allowed us to understand when the essence develops totally without paying attention, in the least to the harmonious cultivation of the personality. The result is a mystic without intellect, without personality, of noble heart, but not adaptable and incapable. The harmonious development of personality and essence gives, as a result, brilliant men and women. In the essence, we have everything that is ours. In the personality, we have everything that is borrowed. In the essence, we have our innate qualities. In the personality, we have the example of our elders, what we have learned at home, in school, and in the streets. It is urgent that children receive nourishment for the essence and nourishment for the personality. The essence feeds itself with tenderness, limitless affection, love, music, flowers, beauty, harmony, etc. The personality should feed itself with good examples from our elders, with wise teaching at school, etc. It is indispensable that children enter primary school at the age of 7 years after having passed through nursery. Children should learn their first letter playing so that studying becomes attractive, delightful, and happy for them. Fundamental education teaches that starting in the very nursery, each of the 3 aspects of the human personality, known as thought, movement, and action, should be taken care of, so that the personality of the child develops in a harmonious and balanced way. The matter of creation of the personality of a child and its development is a very grave responsibility for parents and school teachers. The quality of the human personality depends exclusively on the type of psychological material with which it was created and nourished. There exists among the students of psychology much confusion surrounding personality, essence, and ego. Some confuse the personality with the essence, and others confuse ego with the essence. Many are the pseudo-esoteric or pseudo-occultist schools that have as a goal of their studies the impersonal life. It is necessary to clarify that it is not the personality that we have to dissolve. It is urgent to know that we need to disintegrate the ego, the myself, and reduce it to cosmic dust. The personality is a mere vehicle of action, a vehicle that needed to be created, fabricated. In the world, there exist Caligulas, Attilas, Hitlers, etc. Every type of personality, however perverse it may have been, can be radically transformed when the ego is totally dissolved. This matter of the dissolution of the ego confuses and annoys pseudo-esotericists. These people are convinced that the ego is divine. They think that the ego is the same being, the divine monad, etc. It is necessary and urgent to understand that the ego has nothing divine. This is something which cannot be postponed. The ego is the Satan of the Bible, a handful of memories, desires, passions, hates, resentments, concupiscences, adulteries, and inheritance of family, race, nations, etc. Many affirm in a stupid way that within us exists a superior or divine ego or an inferior ego. Superior or inferior are still two sections of the same thing. The superior ego and the inferior ego are two sections of the same ego. The divine being, the monad, the inner being, has nothing to do with any form of ego. The being is the being, and that is all. The reason for being of the being is the being. The personality in itself is only a vehicle and nothing more. Through the personality, the ego or the being can manifest itself. Everything depends on us. It is urgent to dissolve the ego so that the psychological essence of our true being manifests itself through our personality. It is indispensable that educators fully understand the need for harmoniously cultivating the three aspects of the human personality: a perfect equilibrium between personality and essence, a harmonious development of thought, emotion, and movement. A revolutionary ethics make up the foundation of fundamental education.